3. I think we're live. We are live. VLynn, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Excellent.
You know, I was grocery shopping yesterday and I was talking to the clerk and I said, "How are you today?" And she said, "I'm good." And she goes, "As long as I go to sleep alive, I'm good." And I said, "Well, as long as I wake up alive and
I
I go to sleep
know.
alive, it's a good day." So, and today we're talking about one of my, and I know your favorite topics, which is digital marketing, specifically for vegan-based businesses. And, I want to do some clarification here where we have people that assume that because we have the word vegan in our business name, that we are nutritionists. And although we follow a very nutritious eating protocol, that's not what we
Lifestyle.
do with our clients. We don't teach them how to eat. We actually work with nutritionists, with trainers, with coaches, with
Coaches.
consultants who want to reach more of a vegan market. So with that, VLynn, what are your thoughts on one, digital marketing? You've been doing it for many, many years, and two, what people can do to use that to amplify what they're doing.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, Kathleen, is that if anyone has ever had a problem getting their message out there, the solution is digital marketing. And there's no better way than to get your message moving out into the larger marketplace than using online marketing. And the reason is because you can go one to many so much easier. But there are strategies that need to be employed in order to do it effectively and
Right.
to get the kind of results that you really want to get. And that's what I love about the work that we do, because we help clients do that. We had a client go from 0 email list to over 1,000 in less than 90 days. Actually, it was 30
It
days.
was 30 days. Yes.
30 days. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And, not everyone sees those kind of results, but if you do it the right way, you can. And again, that's what the whole idea around digital marketing is. You can plan it more easily. You can
Absolutely.
structure the way that you're going to get out there. You can structure it in a way that you know what your next thing is, because it's one thing to get your message out there, but if you're not bringing people back to you, what's the point?
Absolutely. And digital marketing is also about engaging people. I'm actually watching a friend of mine do something that's really spectacular right now. He's a pro bodybuilder. He's vegan. He has been vegan since I think 2015. And so it's been a while for him. And his whole
Not
thing
that
with
long. It's
it's
only
not that long compared to others. I mean, long by, it's all relative. It's like
well,
if
true
somebody's
that.
one day vegan and they look at 8 years, it's like, wow, that's a long time. If they're 35 years and they look at 8 years, they go, "You're a baby vegan." I had somebody tell me that the other day. I'm actually on Saturday, I hit 5 years, and they said, "Oh, you're a baby vegan." I said, "Yes, I am, and proud of it."
I
And
know.
it's like, when do we graduate? Hopefully never. We just keep going with what we're
That's
doing
right.
as vegans. But what Zach is doing, he and his fiance are doing coaching for people who want to do bodybuilding, and they want to do it the vegan way. Very, very specific. And so what he's doing is he's actually putting a survey out to market on social media using digital marketing very effectively. And he and I have been corresponding privately. And I said, "Zach, you're crushing it. You're doing a great job." And he has a very specific strategy. And that's the thing that we want to look at, is what is the strategy that people need to use. And that's the key right there, VLynn, is having a strategy. It is not about just throwing mud up on the wall and hoping something sticks, because we work with authors that want their books to actually become bestsellers, obviously, because the more books that you sell, the more people you impact. And yet many, many authors, they think just writing the book is all they need to do and put it up on Amazon, and then they sit and wait and wait and wait. You have to be extremely proactive. I'll use the example of another professional vegan bodybuilder, the godfather of vegan bodybuilding, Robert Cheek, who has a new book coming out. He's already promoting his new book that hasn't even come out yet. And so it's like, he started the digital marketing ahead of time. So what are some very specific strategies that people can use with digital marketing? And let's first of all come up with a really clear definition of what that actually means, because people hear marketing, digital marketing, and they may not know all that encompasses.
That is a great point. And digital marketing really is using the internet, using online opportunities to market yourself, your brand, your product, your service, your business. And you can do that via social media. You can do it via email. You can do it via blog posts and newsletters. There are a number of ways that you can do digital marketing. A lot of people think it's relegated to just social media, and that's not really the case. Digital marketing came about in order to utilize every facet of opportunity that the internet provides us. And when we only use one, we're limiting ourselves.
Right.
And so when you know that all of these aspects are part of the digital marketing framework, then you do have enough to build a great strategy. And in that strategy, you might look at, okay, you've got social media, and then within social media, you've got various channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Which one or ones, and typically there's only going to be one or two, that really are where your people are playing. And that's where you want to have most of your conversation to create what you mentioned. I love that: engagement.
Right.
Every effort that you do for social media, for digital marketing, should lead to an opportunity for engagement. And that engagement means you're drawing people back to you to have the conversation. I always go back to, and we often talk about the fact that, no matter what kind of marketing you do, it's a matter of the dating process. Whether it's direct marketing and you're mailing something to somebody, snail mail, you've got to mail and mail and mail and mail.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see those ads coming in your mailbox, month after month or week after week, because they know that it's not just a one thing and you're done. You've
Right.
got to
Right.
keep that, get and maintain that consistency. And it's not easy, which is why you have firms like ours that specialize in this, that
Right.
help
Right.
people to do this so that it can be done for them more easily.
Well, and you mentioned something about on social media picking one or two, maybe three channels that you're going to be using, and it never ceases to amaze me when somebody does a one size fits all. They say, "Oh, you have to be on Facebook." It's like, no, you don't have to be on Facebook. If you're using Facebook for business and your market isn't there, why in the world would you use Facebook? And it's kind of like the story. I don't know. One of the motivational speakers, maybe Zig Ziglar or something, told this story about the man that was looking for his keys and he couldn't find his keys, And somebody came along and said, "Can I help you find your keys?" And he's like, "Yeah, help me." And he goes, "Well, where do you think you lost it?" "Well, it was about a mile down the road." And it's like, "Well, why are you looking here?" "Well, the light is better here." It's like, that makes no sense whatsoever. And that's kind of what people do when they just throw something up on social media without thinking it through. I know for us, LinkedIn is a really good location because there are a lot of vegans, professional vegans on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And that's the thing you want to look at too, is like, who is your market specifically, and what really gets them engaged with. I want to go back to what Zach's doing because I love the strategy that he's using. He actually posted in Facebook and said, if you would like to take the survey, put the words, whatever words he had, "I'm vegan," or "yes, I want to," or whatever the words were. Now, what's interesting is the first time he posted that, I didn't even notice that. And I private messaged him. I said, "Hey, I'd love to take your survey." He said, "Well, it said it in the message that you need to leave certain words." He goes, "I'll give you the survey anyway." And I said, "Well, I didn't even notice it." So what he did is he changed the order of the way that he was putting the message up. So the thing you want to keep in mind with something like that is, just because you don't hit the target the first time out doesn't mean that you don't have a target to hit. It means that you might need to tweak things. And what a lot of people do, if they don't get a result right away, they go, well, this stuff doesn't work. It's like, no, you have to test. I can't tell you the number of times that I made a minor change to something and got a completely different result. And so don't assume that you're going to hit it 100% right out the gate. It's a matter of testing. It's a matter, you do A/B testing. That's a part of digital marketing. But one thing that we didn't even mention that's a huge part of digital marketing is getting on podcast shows.
Before you jump there, if
Okay.
I may, let me go
Absolutely.
back and add to what it is that you just finished speaking
Okay.
about.
Please do.
Because when you're talking about these social media channels, the 1, 2, or 3, what I want people to understand is that you might have 7 channels that you want to be visible on.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you want to spend all or most of your time at all of those. And it may be like you were talking about, LinkedIn being that channel where your engagement is really happening. Be visible on 7 channels, have those conversations and build relationships on the one where
Yes.
you know the return on your investment is going to come.
I appreciate you saying that, because what I do is I post on TikTok, and TikTok's not my main channel, but by posting, usually like after the gym, I've had some great workouts. So I've got the oxygen going and I get some wonderful thoughts. And today it was about the ads that are out there to convince us that we're sicker than we really are. And there's one that I just posted about. It's an ad that says, you may not know you have this disease. You may not have symptoms. You may not even know what this disease is, but you probably have it. And this pill will fix you. And I'm like, what a load of. And so of course I had to do a video on it. The easiest way for me to upload it is to go through Movie Maker and then right into TikTok. But what I do with that is, now that it's on TikTok, I get some engagement there, but then I can share it to Twitter. I can share it to LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, but Facebook. So I can spread it on other channels. Even though TikTok's not my main platform, I can move it over to other channels. And that's the easiest route for me to take. So there's so many strategies. You're brilliant at strategies. I mean, that's one thing I love about you, VLynn, is that you are so brilliant with these different strategies on social media, and very, very methodical about what you do. You just say, okay, there's step 1, step 2, step 3. And me, I tend to go, okay, let's go to step 10 right away. And you're like, wait a minute, we have some other steps in between. So we actually complement each other in the way that we do we do for our clients, and moving them out of their comfort zone to get more visible on social media.
And the joy of it is we can do it more rapidly. And I love it because there are some of our clients that really need the balance of who we are and what we bring to the table to completely grasp what it is that we're trying to help them to move into. And with that, we can move them more quickly. And that's what I'm about. As an accelerated business development coach and mentor, I'm looking at how can we do this more quickly, more effectively and efficiently and sustainably. And I think we do a fabulous job doing that together, because you really do bring about here's the system, here's the process, what can we do, and doing it more rapidly. And
Right.
then, 2 for the price of 1 means that people get all of our expertise. And a lot of times when you're working with one coach or one consultant, it takes longer to get from point A to point Z.
Right. Right.
And with us, we factored in how to balance ourselves with our team, how to balance the things that we're creating for clients, and we can move them more quickly.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about a couple of the tools that we use that are effective in getting that visibility, because there are resources available that take they minimize the amount of time you have to do something. For example, Buffer is a great example of a resource that we use not only for ourselves, but for our clients, so that we post something once. Well, we have team members who do this. We guide them through where we need them to go. And the posting gets done, and then it feeds out into different channels so that it's one effort, many results. So what are some of the resources that you really like as far as for digital marketing?
I love Trello. I love Trello. Trello being our project management tool,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to categorize by project, and then within project, the different factors that we're looking at or working on, the different projects
Right.
that we're working on, the different aspects of what team members are responsible for. It's a great way for us to manage our team or help our team to even manage themselves, because we've implemented tools that they can use to track what they need to do, track what is new that's coming on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps us all to stay. And I'm big on it. Why do anything the hard way when there's an efficient way to do it and do it more rapidly? So I love Trello. Trello is one of my
Trello is
top of
great.
the list.
Absolutely. And one item that I like, and that's if you're going to be a podcaster, is Libsyn.
Yeah.
Libsyn is the hosting company that we use for our podcast, and our clients use Libsyn. It's really great because you can get your stats, you can see how many downloads you had, and all of that ties into digital marketing. You have to know your analytics. And again, this is one thing that you're a real stickler on. We do spreadsheets, and every week we know how many increases on LinkedIn a client had, how many increases on connections on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be, and where do we need to put more effort. So Libsyn is something that I really appreciate. Time Trade is another one. I use Time Trade. You use Calendly, I believe it is. And Time Trade, I find works really well for me. It's a scheduling program where you can key in certain messages depending on what somebody is scheduling for. I have about 10 different areas. One is, are they going to be on a podcast show? Which podcast show? Are they doing a one-on-one with the two of us? Because that's something that we offer to people, where they can actually hire us for a half hour, and we dig right into what their situation is. They fill out a short assessment, and for a very nominal investment, they get our brain power for a half hour, and we always will help them find that one thing that needs to be shifted so that they can move to the next level. So what would be some other things that you like?
You know what, just to piggyback on that, I find that that has been one of the things that people have found so much value in what it is that we do, because they always walk away with 1 to 2 actionable items that they can implement immediately. And we've had people come back and say, wow, this happened and I got this result.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of rapid transformation results that we look to bring to clients, that we look to
Absolutely.
bring to the work that we do. One of the things that we decided when we decided to work together was that we were really feeling the pain of vegan entrepreneurs and healthpreneurs in this major conversation of using lifestyle and food as medicine, who were not getting the traction that they needed, that they wanted, that they could potentially have in their businesses, because they did not know the strategies
Right.
behind digital marketing. And so for us, it's been amazing to know that what we've come together, what we've brought together to make Vegan Visibility Productions is growing. And the podcast guesting that we teach, the podcast hosting that we help clients to do, virtual summits. We're working on our 3rd annual virtual summit
Yes,
right
we are.
now.
Yes,
That's
that's
going
the Vegan Visibility Summit. There we have others in the works.
but it's going to be, well, I'm not going to spoil it. It's going to be so amazing that I get really juiced behind it. I feel like
Absolutely.
I'm on steroids and I haven't done anything but water, you know?
Okay. Well, and I want to take a step back into guest podcasting, being a guest on podcast shows. We have one client we're working with that it was probably, I'm going to say 7 to 10 days ago that we started focusing on getting her on podcast shows. Now, we have certain strategies that are very, very effective. The two of us, between the two of us, we've been on lots of shows. We've hosted a lot of podcasts as far as guests. And we were very dialed into what her expertise is, who her market is, and the type of shows that would be a fit. Within 7 days, I believe it is, she's booked, I think it's 6 shows already. And, that's pretty phenomenal, because when you consider how many shows there are, but there's more guests than there are shows, and more people that are vying for that one spot. Oh, I want to get on your show. And you might have 20 people that are trying to get on a show. And what's going to make 1 or 2 or 3 of those people rise to the top and really stand out? There are strategies around that. So anything that you do with digital marketing, you want to make sure that you have a focused approach. One of the reasons we're doing so well is because we made a decision to pick a lane. The lane is vegan businesses, healthpreneurs, and plant-based businesses and nonprofits. And we picked that lane, and we've been going very, very deep into that lane. We've been rising to the top very quickly. And it's not because, we're just so lucky. It's because we, one, have a lot of experience. 2, we were able to transfer the knowledge and experience from other markets into this market. And 3, we stuck with it, and we're very, very consistent. Every single day we do something. And that's what we teach our clients. It's like, and it's interesting, because what you'll find is, as you're growing your business, there are going to be times that you hit a wall of fear. It's like, ooh, this is really happening. Because it's one thing to talk about what you want, and it's another thing to actually have it happen. And all of a sudden you're an in-demand podcast guest, and people are reaching out to you. We've had that happen with some of our clients, where people are reaching out to them saying, hey, I saw you on so-and-so show, and I'd like you to come on my show. So consistency, I think, is the number one thing with digital marketing. Well,
You're
not
so
number
right.
one. It can be in the top 3. Yeah.
It's like the golden thread that
Right.
flows through every aspect of digital marketing. Once you find what is working, being consistent at that is going to bring about success. To one day somebody may be saying that you're an overnight success, and you knew it took you that 12 years
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
there.
Let's try 30 years.
But you're coming around for a second or a third time
Oh my
on
God.
that. And,
I
you
have to
know,
say, I have had some great victories in my time in my business. And I've also had some amazing, amazing, incredible defeats, and, things that literally knocked me to my knees. 2008 was one of them because of the economy. 9/11 was another one, where lots of things shut down, conferences shut down. And as a keynote speaker, it's like, oh my gosh. And then the pandemic, it was like literally overnight, my business dropped by 80 to 90% of revenues that were projected revenues, because conferences got canceled. And I've had the good fortune of having those things happen, so that I literally was with my back against the wall, on my knees, just saying, okay, I surrender. Give me what I need. And what I mean by give me what I need is give me the ideas. And it's not the ideas that make a difference. It's what you do with those ideas that
right,
make a difference. So,
right.
and one of the things I want to talk briefly about before we call it a day on this particular live is, we were talking about the people that either celebrate you or tolerate you. And it's the same with
Mm,
social media. It's like, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, people are either going to celebrate you and be so happy you're there, or they're going to tolerate you and just wish you'd go away. So you need to make sure you're in the right place at the right time, and be willing to have a voice around what you stand for. I shared something with you recently, you and a client, about a group that I belong to, a very high powered group, that a lot of people are putting bacon jokes up. And every time I see one, it hits me in the heart, because I know how bacon is produced. And the more I learn, the more painful it becomes. I sat with it for a few days. You gave me some input. The client gave me some input, and I digested that. I processed it. And today I did a meme about, you may think it's funny to do jokes about bacon, but it hurts some people. And I'm one of those people. I don't know exactly what I said. And I put a cute little piglet, and I said, please rethink the bacon jokes that you put up, and please rethink the likes that you give those jokes. And I left it at that, and I posted it in the group. And one person said, thank you for your courage to post this, because it was going against quite a few people who had liked it. And I thought, I can't just sit with this, but I don't have to slam anybody. I don't have to judge anybody. I simply have to be my voice, and the voice for the voiceless, which would be the animals. So are you celebrated or tolerated? Do you have anything you'd like to add to that? And I know you do, VLynn.
There are so many things that is applicable to, and playing on social media is one of them. And, it's also the space where you have to evaluate. So before you actually say, it feels like I'm being tolerated in this space, look at your own actions. What have you been posting? Has it been all about the sale? Has it been all about the push? Or have you really been creating value for that place you've been posting? And if you know that you have been a value contributor, that you have really prompted thinking in these places that you're playing, then think about the comments coming back to you that have you feeling that you're being tolerated. Is it your insecurities, or is it really, in truth, not the place for you to play?
Right.
And so it's important to really assess where you are, where you've contributed or possibly contributed to what's coming to you. Because the other piece of that is that nothing just happens, everything happens for you, not to you.
Correct.
And so maybe what's happening with this feeling of being tolerated somewhere, once you start assessing your input, you will find out that maybe you're the culprit. You're the one responsible for that coming back at you. I really appreciate how you took the time to dive deep into how to respond to that bacon message, and didn't respond in a way that had people shooting darts
Right.
back at you.
Right.
And even the ones that didn't respond probably said, man, that took a lot of courage to say that. And, I can appreciate that. And maybe I'll think about it next time, or
Right.
maybe I won't. We all have our own positions in all of that.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I really look at how it is that you're responding to things, how it is that you are contributing to things. And if you consider yourself as a major positive contributor, because I really believe that everybody makes an impact no matter what you do, whether you do nothing or you do something radical.
Right.
Look at how you are making an impact. And I always I have this saying, let's be positive impact makers. I mean, that's one of my things is, I want to talk to and work with positive impact makers. And when I know that we are doing things to make a positive impact, it's easy for me to assess, yes, I've been a value contributor. Maybe I do need to kind of check my posts and, well, yeah, I kind of was a little heavy
Right.
in the cell
Right.
at this point. But you know what? Now that I see that everything happens for you, that happened for me to be able to take that look for a minute, make an adjustment, and make myself better as I'm helping others to be better as
I
well.
love that. I love that. And for another Vive Live that we're going to do, I would love to talk about leaving a positive legacy and leaving a negative legacy, because on LinkedIn recently there was a whole discussion that Jamie Logan started, and some of the comments, I thought, if you run a company and you have customers who happen to be of the vegan persuasion, if you will, and they see your comments, you're going to lose business. And so you have to keep in mind that it's not about not being authentic and being who you are, but it's also about considering other people's feelings in what you're doing. And there's a good way to do it, and there's a not so good way to do it. So with that, VLynn, we have gone nearly a half hour. What's that?
Compassion is the key.
Absolutely.
Compassion for self, for others. And when you're coming from that perspective, it's hard to not be a positive impact.
Right.
So thanks for bringing that in.
You betcha. And I want to remind people that you can find us on YouTube. We would encourage you to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, because then you can watch these lives every week live, or you can watch the replay. And we certainly appreciate you going ahead and subscribing to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your time today. And if you're watching the replay, we appreciate your time during the replay.
Leave us a comment below.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Help us out to help you to spread your message and our message, because we're all about the health, the compassion, and the environment of a vegan lifestyle, running a vegan business, plant-based business, and healthpreneurs. And it's medicine through, what is it? Lifestyle?
It's using lifestyle and food as medicine.
Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Thank you so much, VLynn. Always a pleasure.
Always, Kathleen. Yes. Thanks, everybody.